restaurant owners, fisheries, aquaculture sector in the Bay of Fundy?
Not yet.
Will invitations be sent to those?
I don't know. At this point, I've just taken on the chairmanship, so in terms of developing
right, because I mean those jobs, and including the agriculture sector, would actually create more jobs and existing jobs here in the province. And we're talking about all these other resource-intensive projects, which could potentially adversely affect the current jobs and expansion. Sure. So I think that all of those sectors should be in the committee.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Possibly.
I mean, the local food product.
Well, like you say, Lawrence has already done a presentation for Chamber of Commerce and so on. So certainly we are considering all those things. I mean, one of the issues that we're considering with all these projects coming on board is just the staging of these things, because we want to make sure that the local folks have an opportunity to work on all these projects. If they all happen within the same 1 or 2 year period, you only can drive a truck, or you only can do engineering, or you only can do geomatics on one at a time, right? So what we're looking at is working with the staging of these things, and looking at working with the groups, yes. But we're working with the...
you have to include the First Nations, the Bay of Fundy.
The First Nations are included.
Are the traditional Aboriginal communities included?
Yes. Kim's here. We talked to her.
Okay. Yeah. Will you include the traditional...
Well, I don't see
the farmers, all of them could potentially be affected adversely by shale gas development, by Energy East development.
You think so? Yes. But you were talking about Bay of Fundy. Bay of Fundy is not within the Greater Fredericton area.
Energy East, they have a stakeholder. They certainly have a major stakeholder. And Nashwauk River could potentially be affected by
the Nashwauk. They're dealing with the EIA with the system project specific.
With Energy East, you realize the last Chamber of Commerce meeting, Energy East representative from TransCanada said he'd get back to us in a couple of weeks with reports on computer modeling, spill modeling for the Nashwauk River. That's been 2 months.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't know what was promised.
And we're dealing with companies here that can't provide questions, can't answer questions from the stakeholders in the communities. And I think that the task force of your community has to include all of these sectors.
Now, in your Council Canadian, do you include companies?
We don't take funding from companies.
No, but do you include companies in your discussions?
Well, we're inclusive.
You don't,
we talk
do you?
to everyone.
Do you? Or do you talk at people?
Sir, I mean, we're looking at energy sectors, natural resource sectors.
Do you invite business people to talk to you?
Of course.
Do you have business people as members?
And actually, sir, we actually advocate for citizen consultation by these companies.
No, but you work with it.
To make sure the food sector...
Or do you show up at the meetings and raise questions? Or do you invite them to be part of the process? The reason I ask this is
sir, we invite them to be part of the process.
The reason
and they don't want to be part of a meaningful
See, here we go,
process.
Charles. Not allowed to get a word in edgewise.
I'm not saying a word.
No, I know you're not, but you're recording it, and I think this is important.
I'm asking...
No, you're not. You're dominating the conversation. You are asking questions, not waiting for responses. You're throwing out things that are not particular to the greater Ignite Fredericton community by throwing out Fun Day fish. Okay, yes, that is more an Ignite St. John question. Okay? So what you're doing here is throwing a lot of stuff at me. Okay? Without even listening to a response. And then when I do try to respond, you're interrupting.
Sir, I mean, why don't we have...
My name is
Why don't we have public meetings? Why doesn't TransCanada...
This is public. You and I are talking publicly,
have public meetings? Why are there not public meetings?
Systems having public meetings.
No, they haven't.
Well, there's going to be a public meeting in Stanley.
That's the environmental impact assessment meeting. Yeah. But why, even the Fredericton City Council has sent a letter
Does the Council Canadian set public meetings?
Asking all the time.
Oh, you do? When is your next public meeting? I'd like to attend.
We've actually sponsored a lot of the question and answer, all candidate debates for the province.
That's not you.
Voice of the People tour.
We sponsored the Chamber of Commerce.
Voice of the People tour. We had 2 large meetings.
But
last
did you
year.
invite people to attend?
Everyone?
Did you invite business people
Everyone
to attend?
was invited.
Okay, you invite them. They can step up to the mic and ask questions.
Always.
When's your next Council Canadian meeting?
It would be the federal all candidates
But
meeting.
that's not a Council Canadian meeting.
It's sponsored. It's organized by a council.
But you have an organization yourself. Do you invite people to attend your meetings?
We meet every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. Everyone's invited.
Whereabouts?
At Conservative House.
Okay. Because the reason I ask that is the Conservation Council doesn't allow everyone to attend their meetings.
Right, well, I'm not.
I go back to the Metz farm controversy, and the hog farmers that wanted to apply to the meetings, they were not allowed to attend.
Right.
And those that did attend or were able to get into the meetings were not allowed to speak.
So Fredericton, back to TransCanada, for example, Fredericton City Council sent a letter asking for them to hold a public meeting with the city residents, and they refused.
No. You asked for a townhouse meeting. That's not the same as a
Fredericton
presentation.
City Council asked
For a townhouse meeting? Because I know that's what you folks were agitating for.
They asked
a
for
townhouse meeting is not the same
they
as
asked
an
for a
open
public meeting.
I
City
can't speak
Council
for
asked for a public meeting.
I'm not TransCanada.
And TransCanada. So, I mean, the task force really should be inclusive of the private woodlot owners, the farmers, the fishermen, the natural resource sectors of wind and solar and geothermal. And then you make it inclusive. It looks right now like it's stacked by mining and clear-cutting, industrial forestry, and energy companies like oil and gas.
Well, Mike Oliver is not a clear-cutter forester. He's not a fracker.
Right. Are the private woodlot owners represented on the task force?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Well, they should be. They should be.
Okay.
These are major job creators in the province, and will only be a lot more. But I mean, Council Canadian is extremely inclusive. We hold public meetings all the time. The Voice of the People tour had 28
I have
public
not heard
meetings
of a public
around
meeting.
the province.
I've heard of meetings such as the all councils, the all candidates meeting.
Right.
That is not a Council Canadians meeting.
We actually go door to door with our notices, and so we try to get as many residents as possible.
When did you visit
we
my
send
house?
notices.
I live on the hill. When's the last time that you folks went door to door on the hill?
It would have been 2014 in August and September.
And you
2014.
covered the whole hill?
We pretty well covered most of the south side, and we covered a lot of we covered some of the north side, but we tried to cover most of the south side.
Okay, so every house, I realize not every house.
Sir, we're doing this through door to door. Well, we can't afford to do it through Canada Post, so we're trying to get.
What I'm saying is the coverage needs to be weak because I do not recall that at all.
Well, we're talking, 1,500, 2,000 notices went out in
Why
southern.
didn't you use the paper?
And so, sir, it's very
Public service
expensive.
announcement.
It's very expensive.
Public service announcements on CBC? They would bend over backwards to give you folks.
We do use PSAs. when
But
we
I
get
haven't
them out.
heard a PSA for the Council of Canadians inviting people to their annual meeting.
Just as an example, the Voice of the People tour, we had 150 people on the north side. We had over 200 people attend on the south side for the all candidates meeting. Here on the south
that's
side,
not your meeting.
we had over 200. We organized it.
It doesn't
And
matter.
we made
it's
a
not
public
It's
meeting.
not a question of participating with your
It is our
organization
meeting.
or asking about that.
It is our
Do you
meeting.
accept membership from anybody? Or do you have membership?
We don't take corporate donations.
So if someone from a fracking company showed up at your meeting, how would they be treated?
With respect.
Charles just gave the answer.
With respect. Sir.
Would you allow them to get a word in edgewise?
We would ask them.
Would they be talked down?
No, we would ask them for a public meeting for the residents.
Okay, so you'd have 150 meetings versus one. That's the with respect you're talking about?
These companies are allowed to speak. and yet they don't. Why is that, sir?
No, what you're asking for is a townhouse meeting, which is a public forum where I'm up here by myself, or a fracker's up here by himself, or an organic farmer's up here by themselves, accepting questions from 150 people.
And
Invited by the...
and you don't think the citizens of Fredericton are respectful of public meetings, sir?
I have recalled some situations.
Is that what you're saying?
No. Most people in the state of Fredericton are respectful of public meetings.
If you had attended the Voice of the People meetings, if you had attended the question and answer, all candidates, of course. And sir, they were very respectful. We had all the candidates there,
right,
and people were very respectful, and people really appreciated the public, meaningful public consultation. So that's all we're asking.
Okay.
I just don't know why it would be a problem for TransCanada, for Sissenbrook, to have these meaningful public engagements with citizens.
Right.
There's a lot of questions. We are talking about our drinking water. We are talking about our local food production. We are talking about the responsible management.
So are you
of our
implicating
forestry.
that by being chair of this Natural Resources Committee, I'm not concerned about drinking water, I'm not concerned about agricultural land, I'm not concerned about forestry, I'm not concerned about fishing? Is that what you're implying?
No, I'm asking.
Is this the respect that you're talking
when
about?
the other sectors will be invited to complement what you have a fairly centric mining and energy resource sector. You need to balance it with all the other sectors.
Is take advantage of the opportunities that are there. Okay.
We're surrounded by farming communities. Andrew, right?
Yeah.
We get our
I'm not
drinking
against
water.
farming.
We get our drinking water from the national, from wells.
We get it from wells.
From wells that are fed by windows in the St. John River and the Nashua.
Right. But it's not from the Nashua. You know, you got to be clear here. It's wells.
Sir, I just corrected myself.
Okay,
we have deep artesian wells, and they're fed through water trickling through the surface water. We have windows open in the St. John River and the Nashua River.
Right.
So, I mean, there really needs to be a balance of voices at this table for the task force. Right. And if we want to talk about job creation in one sector, we have to talk about how it's going to adversely affect job creation in other sectors. We do that. That's all.
Yeah. Very good.
That's all.
What's your full name, Andrew?
Andrew Steeves.
Listen, why don't you say that Mr. Darcy would be a good member of the opposition in the House?
No, I don't, because Mr. Darcy doesn't listen.
Well,
He shows up with a set agenda. He's not prepared. He's set on his beliefs, Charles. We've had a lot of very good discussion at our committee meetings. We have talked about the pros and cons. This Natural Resources Committee is not for any one project, but it is for, recalling the history of New Brunswick, for taking the benefits of natural resources, the natural resources that we have in this country. You know, the forests, the mines, the fish, the farm.
But we should be concerned of, like I noticed that there's the task force and everything, but there's not really citizens to watch over, like join the group, like the natives, and including Darcy.
No, the natives are part of this. But again, it's a business group. I don't want to mislead you here.
No.
It's not like we've gone and asked.
Is it like Roger Augustine, people like that?
No, it's Kim. I don't have her name right now. Yeah, she's with the.
Brooks?
No, Nash.
Yeah. She ran. Okay, okay.
It's a hyphen.
I know her. Yeah.
I apologize to Kim. I forget her name. But she's with the joint economic development initiative between the province and the First Nations, all the First Nations, not just St. Mary's, but all the First Nations.
What I was saying about be a good member of the opposition, that's what they do in the House. They don't. You could give a good answer, but they come out with another remark. That's why I was being sarcastic. I was saying.
Yeah.
But you need people like that to really be the watchdog. I know sometimes he's headstrong, I will agree, but we need people like that to really watch over the forestry.
But there's other forums, Charles, for that. There's other forums. This is really a case of looking at the opportunities and taking advantage of the opportunities, okay? It's not to debate the specifics of any one project or specifics of it. I mean, Mark was talking about computer modeling of water. That's not the expertise here. The expertise here is find a way for your cousins, my cousins, to take advantage of whatever projects are here. The refurbishment development of the Matiquac Dam or removal of the Matiquac Dam or the pipeline or, the growth of organic farming or something like that. If there are opportunities, how can we make sure that New Brunswickers can take advantage of them? And not only take advantage of them, but develop expertise that will allow us to export that. Because New Brunswick was a leader in solid waste management, a lot of companies based in New Brunswick were able to export their expertise to other provinces. So, and that was at the time considered to be a fairly harsh environmental regulation. As you know, we have the 6 landfills in New Brunswick. Well, because of that expertise, companies in New Brunswick were able to develop that. So it's not like you're anti-environment or pro-environment or anti-business or whatever. It's looking at the opportunities that exist and how do you best do it.
That's what I love about these things. Number one, I like these videos because there's no editing.
Yes.
And number two, you didn't run away. You didn't walk away.
No.
It's good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Charles.